Leander ISD students head back to school tomorrow. Many will be staying home for the beginning of the school year, doing virtual learning again. Yesterday, I got a chance to speak with the district's Chief Communications Officer, Corey Ryan, about virtual learning. Let's start with the virtual learning option for younger students in LISD. It's recently been expanded as we head into the fall. Have you all been surprised by the number of students choosing that virtual option to begin the school year?
You know, Brian, not at all. We know that as COVID cases continue to rise in our community and we continue to listen to the advice from Austin Public Health and the Williamson County Health Department, we know that there are real concerns and anxieties with our families and our community. We've been listening and trying to engage as best we can and meet the needs of individual students. And we know that for many right now, virtual learning is what their family needs for their student.
It is a thing we've been through before, I guess you might say, given the last school year. Some districts now have kind of changed the way virtual students will be taught. Will LISD be using the same approach as last school year?
You know, Brian, that's a great question. Virtual or remote learning will look very different this year in Leander ISD. Last year, especially at middle school and high schools, we used what's called a concurrent instructional model where teachers were expected to do both virtual and in-person learning at the same time. This year, it will not happen. It was burning teachers out. And at the same time, we also don't have funding from the state of Texas right now to provide virtual learning. So we had to be very specific and prescriptive in how we offered it. We'll have virtual only classes, in-person only classes. Originally, we were hiring additional teachers to be able to cover this through federal funds, while not receiving money back through the state's financial formula for public schools. Now we're also having to ask some of our teachers who are planning on in-person, may have already had in-person students assigned to them. They're going to have to go out and figure out virtual learning again to meet the needs of students and student requests in this continued pandemic and emergency learning situation that we find ourselves in.
Final question. Even with the difficult circumstances at the beginning of this school year, it can be an exciting time for both teachers and students. Are you feeling that excitement from teachers and students as you get ready to start the school year this week?
I'll be honest, Brian, it's I think mixed emotions for so many. I want to honor the feelings and the anxiety that so many of our families are experiencing right now. We're excited to be able to open an in-person option. We know most kids learn best in person. Our teachers are angels and saints among us. And providing what our families, our students need and trying to meet individual students where they are. Our focus this year is on connecting and maintaining and strengthening relationships, making people feel safe and kids feel safe in their learning environment. And we are excited to rekindle and to build those relationships and to reconnect. But I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the real anxiety that everyone's feeling right now as we enter another COVID year in public schools and in communities across the state of Texas.